Hey Psych2Goers, welcome back to our channel. You've given us so much love, and that means a lot to us. Your ongoing support helps us to make psychology and mental health more accessible to everyone, and we wanna thank you for that. So thank you. As a quick disclaimer, we wanted to let you know that this video is meant for informative purposes only. This video should not be used as any kind of diagnostic criteria. If you're dealing with something like abuse, we encourage you to please seek help. With that said, let's begin. Relationships with your family and friends define your life and also shape how you experience and engage with others. Attached to each relationship you create are experiences and memories. However, sometimes what you experience in relationships can hurt and scar you. These mental scars influence any new relationships you may be trying to build. So here are 6 signs of people who may have suffered abuse. Number 1, you have feelings of insufficiency. Feeling insufficient is a sign of abuse. There is probably a sense of unworthiness that follows you around. Such feelings stem from an unstable sense of self, stemming from emotionally, verbally, or physically abusive relationships. In an abusive relationship, an abuser plants false ideas in your mind. The power of these ideas is not in the words being used, but rather in who said them and how. Signs of low self-esteem are pessimism, hostility, lack of motivation, or being a bad communicator. You might be depressed or have other mental health conditions. Fortunately, self-esteem can improve. Working out, changing the negative narrative in your head, and practicing mindfulness can help boost your self-esteem. Number 2, you have flashbacks. Flashbacks to previous traumas can come in the form of PTSD. PTSD can affect anyone and is not limited to war veterans, refugees, or victims of assault. If you've ever been in an abusive relationship, you may have complex PTSD or CPTSD. CPTSD develops when you suffer repetitive abuse over an extended period of time. The stressful event or situation you were exposed to was exceptionally threatening or of a catastrophic nature, which caused you pervasive distress. Do you relive the traumatic events through intrusive flashbacks, dreams, or vivid memories? Do you actively avoid circumstances that are similar or associated with the event? Some physical symptoms of CPTSD include difficulty falling or staying asleep, increased psychological sensitivity, irritability, difficulty regulating your emotions, and difficulty concentrating. CPTSD may also exist alongside depression, anxiety, and borderline personality disorder. It can cause cognitive distortions, such as catastrophizing, all or nothing thinking, or labeling. You might think things like, if I do not finish the project perfectly, then it won't be good and I'll be a total failure. Or, I just know that they'll end up breaking my heart, so why even bother being in a relationship? If you or someone you know is dealing with CPTSD, please reach out to a therapist or licensed professional for treatment. The therapies provided will help to replace negative thought patterns, deal with stress, and suicidal urges. Number 3, you struggle with cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, also known as CD, can be another sign of past trauma. CD is when you hold on to 2 contradictory beliefs at the same time. An example of cognitive dissonance would be when someone smokes a cigarette despite knowing that it can cause cancer. In a past abusive relationship, you felt as though you could not trust your own perception and have now developed a desire to avoid similar situations in the future. For example, the abuser may profess their love for you, but verbally abuse you. This creates a sense of internal confusion that can make you wary of trusting others in the future. There are validation journaling exercises that can help you heal and create positive thought patterns. Talking to a licensed therapist can also help. Number 4, you feel numb to your emotions. It can be very difficult to explain how it feels to feel empty or numb. Depression and anxiety also cause emotional numbness. It's the mind's response to increased levels of emotional or physical stress and a desire to disengage from negative experiences. Officially, it's classified as a depersonalization disorder. Symptoms include disassociation, feeling like a stranger in someone else's life, and distress. Abuse creates emotional stress, which leads to the development of depersonalization disorder. In 2016, a study looked at continual exposure to violence in children and its relationship to depersonalization disorder. They found that over the course of 6 years, most of the participants became increasingly desensitized, regardless of their age or gender. But there is hope. Treatment for emotional numbness is possible through coping strategies, such as identifying your triggers, exercising, and reaching out to a support group when necessary. Number 5, you struggle with emotional detachment. Paired with emotional numbness is emotional detachment. In an abusive relationship, it's common for you to feel detached from yourself, be it physically or emotionally. Emotional detachment is a defense mechanism used to cope with distressing and overwhelming emotions. It's the mind's way of disengaging from traumatic experiences. It's also a tool that develops in order for you to gain resilience against the abuse and to keep your sense of self. However, the effects of emotional detachment can linger after the relationship has ended and can prevent you from opening up and being emotionally vulnerable. Yoga can help ground you in your body and your emotions. Getting a pet, connecting with new friends, or picking up a new hobby can also help you to broaden your horizons emotionally and physically. And number 6, you have a habit of over-apologizing. A result of low self-esteem caused by abuse or trauma is to constantly apologize. Those who have endured abuse in the past often apologize for things that are not their fault. This habit originates from feelings of inadequacy, worthlessness, or blame. A good thing to keep in mind is that your needs matter and are important. With therapy, you can help to replace self-defeating thought patterns with positive ones. Did you relate to any of these signs? Past hurts do not have to determine future outcomes. If you recognize any of these signs of abuse in your own life or of someone you know, please reach out to a professional for treatment. Like and share this video if it helped you and you think it could help someone else too. The studies and references used are listed in the description below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell icon for more Psych2Go videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey Psych2Goers, and welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for all the love that you've given us. Before we begin, we'd also like to give a quick shout out to all of our subscribers who have joined our YouTube membership. We're so thankful for all the support that you've given us. It means a lot to us and it helps us continue what we do, as your contributions go back to investing in this channel. And when you join our membership, you'll get exclusive badges, emojis, and more. For those who are interested in joining our YouTube membership, click the link in the description below to find out more. Have you heard of INFJ? Do you think you might be one? INFJ is one of the rarest out of all of the 16 personality types in the Myers-Briggs type inventory, also known as the MBTI, which is based on Carl Jung's theory of personality. It's characterized by introversion, intuition, feeling, and judgment. The INFJ personality type makes up less than 2% of the world's population, and people with this kind of personality type are known for their warm empathy, keen insights, and deep insights into human potential. Before we begin, we would like to make a disclaimer that this video is based on a Myers-Briggs type inventory, which is just a theory and has personality types that are just rough tendencies rather than strict classifications. With that said, here are 8 common signs that you are an INFJ. Number 1, you're on a different wavelength. Do you often feel like an outsider? Being on a different wavelength means that you have a dominant intuition, and due to the nature of how intuition works, you feel that explaining how you know things is very difficult. This can make you feel isolated or misunderstood by others. Number 2, you're a perfectionist and you procrastinate. Do you have a feel of failure? Do you feel like you need to be perfect and not only want to succeed, but to go above and beyond to exceed everyone's expectations? This can be a telling sign that you might have the INFJ personality type. Consequently, due to your ever-present desire to perform at perfection, you also tend to procrastinate a lot because it can all feel like too big of a task. Number 3, you're perceptive and good at reading people. Do you have a natural ability to understand people's emotional states and motivations? This can be a very clear sign of the INFJ personality type. You rely heavily on your intuition to reach deeper than the surface level of someone's mind. You are intrigued by how other people's minds work and how that makes everyone unique. Number 4, you tend to keep a small circle of friends. You may have a large number of acquaintances, but think about it. How many of these acquaintances do you actually consider to be your friends? If your answer is not many, then this can be a sign that you have an INFJ personality. You are very devoted and loyal to your small circle of friends and will remain steadfast in the years to come. This devotion and loyalty stems from the fact that you have a very strong intuition. Your intuition makes you highly selective and allows you to separate people who truly share your values from others who are fake. Similarly, if a friend acts in a way that puts their loyalty towards you in question, you can be quick to cast them aside. Number 5, you're deeply empathetic. Is it easy for you to imagine taking a walk in someone else's shoes? Does understanding one's feelings and emotions come easy for you? This kind of empathy can, once again, be attributed to your intuition and your ability to deeply understand other people's minds. For example, whenever one of your friends has bad behavior or does something wrong, instead of just focusing on what they did, you can see past it and consider other things such as their insecurities or past traumas. Number 6, you cannot stand small talk. Do you hate having to talk about the weather or discuss the local football team? Are you one of those people who can't stand excessive small talk? If you find yourself being extremely bored from prolonged small talk, you might have an INFJ personality. You find that small talk is pointless and only takes away from your energy. Your real desire is to have deep and meaningful conversations with other people. What you really wanna know is their values, feelings, and emotions, and not their comments on the weather. Number 7, you are future focused. If you have an INFJ personality type, you often do everything you can to achieve your personal goals. As such, you have a future-focused insight since you are constantly thinking about the next step to reach your goals. You also tend to be very critical about your past experiences. To avoid feeling sad, you'll prefer to live a lifestyle that's heavily future-focused. An example is if you feel like the relationship with your partner is not going anywhere, you'll most likely break it up. Or if you find yourself stuck in the same work position consistently, you'll most likely quit your job. And number 8, you gravitate towards people who need help. Do you often feel like you need to help people? Does your heart just feel almost too big, brimming with compassion and empathy? While this trait makes it that much easier to form deep and meaningful relationships with your friends, it can also backfire on you. The combination of empathy and the ability to look past the surface and see the good in people can make you fall victim to the broken wing theory. The broken wing theory is the idea that people who need help can never be abandoned. Although it can be very rewarding and gratifying for you to help others, when overdoing it, it can then be very frustrating and stressful. For example, if one of your friends is struggling with a particular subject that you know you're good at, you'll offer to help tutor them, even if they didn't ask for your help. Now, even if you have to study for an exam, you will instead choose to help your friend. If you feel like this video describes your personality, then congratulations. You might be part of less than 2% of the world's population that have the INFJ personality type. You are someone who is very appreciated by your friends and family and relies heavily on a very developed intuition to know things without the need for obvious proof. You are someone who will do anything to achieve your goals, but at the same time, care about how your actions might affect other people. Be proud and embrace all the strengths and weaknesses. It will definitely lead you to a happy and successful life.